This is an important question. On some level, you're right. People have a short memory. They forget. They have other things on their mind. They have daily life. However, I don't think it's totally like this. Every time brutality like this murder on the high seas happens, it adds to the shock that is still there from the last time. People still remember the brutalities of the Gaza attack. And I think that that would mean that the Israelis will not change. They cannot change. Israel is a racist apartheid state. It's a military regime with the full support of its elite, its academia, and its people. Israel enjoys more support from its population for its war crimes than apartheid South Africa ever enjoyed from the white population. As a result, anyone waiting for Israel to change is deluded, is cheating themselves. Israel will not change ever. So how can we bring about change? We bring about change not by governments. The strongest governments that have sway over Israel, like the US and Britain, have done nothing. They never did anything to support Palestinians, to support people on those boats. They could have stopped this from happening, but they didn't, and they will not. The only change will come from us, from millions of people everywhere in this country, in every country, not just in the Muslim world, in the Western world, in the third world, everywhere. People are shocked, disgusted by this murder. And they haven't forgotten Gaza. I know you might think that they have forgotten Gaza, but they haven't forgotten Gaza. And this adds to the shock that has not disappeared from Gaza. So the way I see it is the way it worked with apartheid. Apartheid existed since 1948, exactly the time that Israel has set up its racist state. So these two racist states were set up in the same year. And apartheid did not change from inside. What has happened is millions of people across the globe said, enough is enough. We are not accepting this racism. We are boycotting, we're divesting, we're sanctioning. We're not dealing with South Africa. South Africa is a pariah state. Until they totally remove apartheid, until they give black people full rights, we have nothing to do with South Africa. It worked. I'm not saying South Africa is a miracle, but apartheid is gone as a system. It's our achievement, I mean millions of people everywhere achieved the end of apartheid. So I think that what will happen, what should happen and will happen now, is that people will not wait for Mr. Obama and for Douglas Haig and for people like that will not do anything at all, nothing at all. If we wait for them, if we wait for Netanyahu, more people will die and every single brutality will be worse than the one before. The government in this country has done nothing in 2006 when the Israelis destroyed South Lebanon and Beirut, not for the first time, not for the second time. They killed 1,500 people in a few days. Nothing was done. Nothing was done when 1,500 Palestinians were killed in 2009. Nothing was done this time. What must be done is that the whole world has to make Israel a pariah state. It is a pariah state. It's a state of pirates. It's a state of war criminals. Not to deal with them in any way, not to go there, not to buy anything Israeli, not just from the territories, from Israel, not to show Israeli films, not to go to conferences, not to invite Israeli academics, not to deal with them in any way whatsoever. They are out of the human race until they change. If they don't change, we will change them from outside by force. And that will happen. If Saddam could have been removed, and his crimes were smaller than those of Israel, then Zionism can be removed. Now, this might sound to you like a long task. It probably is, but it's not as long as people think. Because the decline of Zionism, the decline of Israel, has started. It is quite clear that it does not enjoy support from people. It only enjoys support from governments. Those governments are criminal themselves. The American government is involved in war crimes. The British government is involved in war crimes. So one war criminal is supporting another war criminal. We should not support them. We should not wait for them to do anything. We should do it. Every single one of us has a responsibility for Israeli apartheid in the same way that every single person, black or white, had responsibility for South African apartheid. So the solution is there. It's a question of how quickly we can recruit millions of people. And frankly, Israel is doing the job for us. It's doing the job for us because it is so disgusting in its actions that people are now persuaded not by what we might say to them, but by the brutality of the Israeli action.